I turn to my right and I see a winner. I see a man who's for the brand. I see a man who is America's sweetheart, and he's Patrick McAfee here on the Rich Eisen Show. Good to see you, sir.
Incredibly steep drop off for your show here, Academy Award guy to me, but I am excited to be here. It's always great to get in the studio.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, and J.K. Simmons has won the statuette, has won the Oscar, and that said, though, did he play horse with Lamar Odom in Venice Beach yesterday? Let
me give you a quick answer. No, he hasn't. I did, though.
And you did. That was funny. Yesterday, right in the middle of like hour 2, you turned to me and you're like, guess what's happening right now?
I was like, hey, this just popped up. Pat's live in Venice playing horse with Lamar Odom.
Oh, you went underhanded free throw right there. You went Rick Barry on him and he missed. You got a letter on him.
I had him at HOR, Rich. I had him at HOR and I lost it. Tim McAfee sent me an incredibly hilarious text message about how I let this one get away. I will never get to play Khloe Kardashian's ex-husband and horse ever again, and I am completely defeated against him, and it's a real shame. I had him on the ropes.
Well, he went underneath the leg, left-handed layup, and you just had no answer.
Are you lying, Rich?
You had no answer.
What?
Oh, you did!
In jorts, Rich. I did. Those aren't my athletic jorts either. Those are my tight ones. That's what got me right there.
The behind the back, off the backboard, you had no shot there.
Yeah.
How did this come about?
So a sponsor of mine is a gambling website.
Okay.
And we've been doing this show called...
That's odd that Vegas would be the connection between you and Lamar Odom. That's kind of, you know...
Oh, well.
Well, I think he's doing some math there. There's some stories to be told. But, yeah, a gambling website. We do a show called Beat Pat McAfee every Thursday live at like noon. Okay? And it's them setting odds on whether or not I can accomplish a task. The little kids game Perfection... You know, we try
dude, yes.
Yeah, I failed. So that's one of the only times I've lost is that Perfection game. And then yesterday against Lamar Odom, I bowled last week. I rolled a 177. So there was $50,000 gambled on whether or not I would break 130. And I got 177. I mean, yeah.
So so all those who took the over are loving that.
Loving it.
What's the Perfection...
yeah, it's bad.
Well, the Perfection gamble would be, can you complete it or not?
I had 3 attempts. So like the first one was like plus, I think it was like a plus 500 if you bet on Pat beating Perfection the first time, and then it went down each time because they thought I would learn.
Well, yeah, by second or third shot of Perfection, you should have it.
Yeah, Jesus said that, but it was one of those things where
that was great right there.
Rich, that means a lot.
Hey, and on a Jew, I got that one. I understood that one.
Oh, see, I didn't know. Shabbat shalom.
Thank you, sir. Hey, I appreciate that. So Perfection, what gets you? Is it the fact that is it the pop-up thing? Or is it that the ticking, the noise of the timer going off?
So we learned last time I was here that my childhood was an interesting one. Right? A lot of sports. My dad, I had ADD, so I was up and at him. So I've never seen a Disney movie growing up. Like, I have no idea about any of those things. My lady now, a lot of emotion. She talks about the beauties and the beasts and all them, and I have no clue about any of it. I get it, but I don't really. So I never played a lot of board games. My ADD is outrageous.
Yes.
So they heard that. The bookie actually heard that, and they were like, we want you to try to play as child. And I just don't have the strategy. I'm not smarter than a 5th grader. I have no idea how to do it, and I lost by technicality, but it was close. It blew up in my face, the last one. Almost a lot of money. But Lamar Odom beat me in horse yesterday, and the bookie made a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah, because everybody bets on me. I don't know why.
So I just want to, because people, like I said, you're America's sweetheart. People are rooting for you.
I'm not for everybody. I'm not for everybody.
You know, you're an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Well, let's describe what you're wearing today. Let's start with the shirt.
Okay, the shirt
is you with a goat head on it.
No, it's not me.
Is that not you? What is it?
This is unbelievable, Rich. You cover the NFL. You were first employee of NFL Network.
I got to take
this
my
is the person who scored the most points in the history of the NFL.
Okay. So it's a GOAT Vinatieri shirt that you got going on.
Yeah, this is an homage to him breaking the points record. And then around his neck right there, you see, I got this while right after playing Lamar Odom.
That's a gold chain that you're wearing around your neck. What's the origin of this, Pat?
I think I'm part of the chain gang now. I think I'm a chain guy now, strictly because you're not going to not buy a $6 gold chain from a homeless man at Venice Beach after losing to Lamar Odom, and that's what I did. This is a $6 gold chain. The guy told me it was 100% real. I feel like I really won here.
What a bargain!
Yeah, good value.
What a bargain!
Yeah, so I'm a chain guy now. It's good to be here.
Okay.
This is quite an evolution of my life.
Yeah, and that the chain does come down right around on the shirt, the goat head of Vinatieri. Does Vinatieri have a shirt like this?
Well, Vinatieri is Italian, so I'd assume he does wear chains like this.
No,
I'm not.
The shirt, Pat. The shirt. Does he have?
I've shipped. All the shirts that I create for Adam Vinatieri's homage. I send to him, as he should. By the way, that guy's a living legend.
Hey, man.
You didn't even know it was him, though.
I was wearing my glasses. I couldn't see the these are reading glasses that I have on that I needed to take off. I didn't see that number was the number 4.
Well,
but now I see it.
Since last time I was here.
Yes, Pat.
And this is a change of subject.
Okay.
What you did in London was incredible. Don't you think? Like, as you have to work with them every day, so you probably have to kiss the ring a lot. But watching the NFL Network cast of that with 15 people in the booth.
Thanks.
I thought you handled that like a maestro, man.
I appreciate that.
I thought it was really impressive.
You know what? The guys, because people have texted me and emailed me with those sentiments that I handled it or what have you, but I couldn't keep those 3 guys from not stepping on me or anything like that. They did a great job.
I wish you would have got Michael Irvin like he was on that one morning show.
Oh, no,
I wish you would have got him like that. But
Irv did not need a towel man that day.
Respect.
Like Elvis. That's what I said to him the next day when we saw him at the meeting for game day morning. He just went off in the meeting, and then I went up to him and toweled him down in the meeting. And Kurt wasn't there because I think he was coming back. His son caught 4 balls for Nebraska this past week. Yeah, he goes to watch his son. His son's a walk-on at Nebraska.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Cade Warner's been killing it. But anyway,
what position? Wide receiver?
Wide receiver.
Really?
Wide receiver.
Good for him.
I know. So he's been killing it. So Kurt did it. He patted him down on game day morning. But thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. I really
want you to know you did well.
I appreciate that.
Makeup lady, new lady, same outcome here for the face. I think my mom's going to be proud of what we're looking at.
Well, last time you were here, Sarah was not here. I believe the things you shared, Sarah, you're an Indiana individual, correct? Sarah's as well. So there you go.
Did not know that.
Indiana right here. I mean, you're still living in Indianapolis, correct?
It's National Indiana Day today as well.
What do you think of what the Colts are doing right now?
I like what we're doing. I talked to Chris Ballard on my show 2 days ago. They are in a really sweet spot. Chris Ballard said when I talked to him in training camp that they're trying to build the culture before bringing in big free agents, right? So they had a lot of money to spend. They said they want to build the culture with young players so that whenever a free agent comes in, they can fit in. And I think they're doing that right now. That Darius Leonard dude is a monster.
Yep.
Quentin Nelson, obviously an incredibly talented and viral offensive lineman, whether it's fake news or not. And Luck looks to be back. I like what they're doing. They're in a good spot.
So are you referring to the sound that was placed on of him screaming as he's hitting? That was not real, correct? The sound was not of him just absolutely destroying.
So I found out that was fake after
a Jaguar.
The interview with Chris Ballard.
Yes.
And Chris alluded to it to me like 3 times during the interview that it was fake, but I just didn't want to believe it because that video was too good. I didn't want to believe that it was fake. It's on the internet. It's not fake. Yeah, and that led to him being like fined $25,000, I think, because that video was so big.
Well, because it was so big and it looked like he was, using the crown of his helmet to hit somebody,
Well, it was a.
But he was
a hell of a block.
He's dominant, and Luck has been ridiculous this year. For somebody who was wondering if he was going to play anymore.
I have a guy that works with me every day. He's a huge Detroit Lions fan.
Okay.
So he's just a miserable human. Eric Ebron comes to the Colts. He's like, oh, this guy's going to suck for you guys. This dude is terrible. This guy is an overhyped guy. You got no and then now Ebron is
amazing,
leading the league in tight ends and everything. And Luck has found a nice home with him. It's very comfortable. It's a cool team.
And Doyle's back healthy, and obviously Ty is Ty, and we're seeing and
the ghost.
Luck hasn't been touched in 4 weeks, it seems.
Which never. I mean, we had 14 surgeries because he was getting touched a lot there for a while. Now the offensive line is coming together. Ryan Kelly's doing well. Well, T.Y. Hilton is an underrated individual because he just quietly puts up huge numbers.
Right.
And Jack Doyle was once my my blindside wing for the punt team. That's where he started. That's where he got his start. He's a grinder.
He is a grinder.
Now he's rich, wealthy, starting tight end for the Colts. He's in a good spot.
Well, I guess we got to get all this Colts love out of our system because Titans lineman and left tackle Taylor Lewan's going to join us in the next segment.
And that team, I like that team a lot. That Titans team.
I do too.
I like Vrabel a lot. I like the way he's doing things, and Taylor has emerged as one of the best leaders, I think, in football. And whatever he's doing, everybody else, when he came out as boss hog or whatever, everybody was behind him when he got his big payday. I think they got something special down there in Nashville.
What do you think, Pat McAfee, about Mariota? I think he's top. He's top half of the in quarterbacks in the league.
I think he's figuring it out, right? I mean, he's never really had like a sturdy scheme or a sturdy system around him.
Well, the exotic smash mouth is what they were calling it the last couple of years of the malarkey era.
I tried to run an exotic vehicle yesterday. Turns out very expensive. But the exotic smash mouth could be awesome. But if you start looking at, if he gets comfortable in a system and he's got that good offensive line who's chugging beers at Nashville Predators games, they look like they're a tight group there.
Yeah.
And then you got a good defense, and then Vrabel seems to be making the right decisions. That could be a really talented team. And Mariota, by the way, every quarterback's only good if your team's good. If your team sucks every year and never wins, I mean, you're not going to be considered a good quarterback. So all he's got to do is win, and everybody starts talking about it.
Well, he's a two-way threat. He throws a beautiful deep ball. He just needs to, from what I'm hearing and what I see, that second read, he's just married to that first read pre-snap, and it's very difficult for him to find that second, third guy post-snap more often than not. It's like he never does it, but...
As a guy that played quarterback in practice...
Yes, Pat.
Practice squad reps.
Nice.
Basically real-life Madden, which is what I was for the Colts there for a couple of years. When you look at that card, and they have the one, whoever it is, the X, I don't even know the name of it, but it's the left wide receiver, and they circle it, and they say this is the one option, and then the tight end is the two option. It's hard not to get married to that first one whenever it's like, hey, the play is set up for this person to be open. It's hard to be like, you know what, but I want to go to this. I think that is something, and granted, I was probably the best practice squad quarterback I've ever seen.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. All time?
Yeah.
If I had to guess.
Yeah.
A lot of completions. The week we played the New Orleans Saints back in the day, I was acting as if I was Drew Brees.
Yes.
Jimmy Graham was a tight end. I threw for 5,000 yards that week, and I knew we were in for a big trouble, and we were. We lost by 60 in the Dome down there, and I knew it was coming because me and Drew put up the same numbers.
Well, when Peyton came back to the Indianapolis, you played him that week because you had such command of the offense, right?
I was fourth down quarterback that night. Just fourth down quarterback, but in the defense, in the practice, they didn't let me sling the rock.
No, they did not, huh?
No, the new regime thought I should just go stand on the other field and practice how to punt with Vinatieri and then go and kind of hang up on myself.
Oh,
yeah, it was a shame. It was a shame. I had a lot of fun in practice whenever I was young. My first couple of years, I was literally running scout team quarterback. It was hilarious. It was one of the most hilarious things I've ever been a part of.
Well, I want to take a break here and come back before Taylor Lewan joins us. I want to get your thoughts on two subjects, and I'll give them to you right here. Is a tease going to break?
I don't like thinking about things much, but I'll do it for you.
Okay. Well, I mean, you know them, but this is just for a mind's eye for the listeners to stay tuned to listen to Pat McAfee on what the Steelers did to Le'Veon Bell's belongings.
Oh, those Jays?
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. And then two, Ed Oliver of the University of Houston being told by Major Applewhite, his coach, to take a jacket off because the jacket is only supposed to be worn by active players, and the reaction from last night.
Yeah, he didn't deserve that.
Okay, that's Pat McAfee. He's going to join us when Taylor Lewan gets on the phone.
I think old buddy should have had the jacket. I just want I'm getting out ahead of this one.
Okay.
I'm getting out ahead of this one.
This will be fun stuff. That's coming up next here on The Rich Eisen Show. Okay, welcome back to the show. Taylor Lewan's about to chime in here, and before he does, Pat McAfee is going to join us with that as you're hanging with us all hour number 3.
Thanks for having me, by the way.
Oh, come on. Anytime, and thanks for letting me know you're in town. If you'd let me know you're in town, you're welcome here anytime.
It's the least I could do.
So, Lewan, as you know, is a Michigan man, so I've known him for a long time. He's been on this show many times, but he hasn't been on in a while. I used to be able to, with my one of our show bookers, just call him directly. He's changed his number.
He's rich now.
And, well, he's also unfollowed me on Twitter.
What happened?
I don't know.
I was pissed off of you at one point, too. I think those things happen. You have such a big platform. Like, we hear what you say, you know? Like, I think you did something. You called another punter. I think it was right. I was having, like, the best season of my life, and you said something. It was something disparaging that you didn't even know. It was I took a ricochet shot somehow, and I was like, Rich is the OG of the punters or people too. He just took a shot. I didn't unfollow you. I would never do that. Couldn't do that because But
I was on the outs, unknown to me.
Yeah. This was a one-way hatred for about a week or two. So this could be what happened with Taylor.
Well, I wasn't happy with you at one point either because you took a shot at the NFL Network, man.
I did.
You took a broadside at the NFL Network, and we have been there with you.
It's made you guys better.
Well,
it's made you guys better. I think I've.
You're like Odell.
Yeah,
you make us
Giants,
better.
Yes, exactly.
I know you make us better by calling us out or something like that. But we're all good. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think this is a misunderstanding.
Here's the way I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Sometimes, my phone's in my pocket, and I'll start like looking at my Twitter feed. I'm like, when did I follow this person? I have no idea. Sometimes it's a butt follow. I'm going to say it was a butt unfollow.
You said he accidentally unfollowed you.
That's the only way I'm going to take it without taking it personally.
I think we should think about taking it personally because that's a lot of work to get into your profile to hit the unfollow button. And I think they even ask you, like, are you sure? I think he has to, like, triple down on it.
He only follows 525 people.
Hell?
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, you say only, but...
I'm thinking there was a ricochet shot that you don't even know happened. Okay. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, let's find it out. We're going to have to iron this thing out. I'm glad you're here. You're a peacemaker in that way. But I have no quarrel.
I'm a unifier.
You're a uniter. Unite people. Hey, by the way, just to let you know again, my love of punting. The NFL Network Research Group just sent out a stat, which I then retweeted. It's my favorite stat of all time.
I think I'm going to like it.
Since 1940, Tom Brady is the only player to throw more passing touchdowns, 50, than his punter had punts in the season, 44. And this year, with Mahomes and Brees are both on pace to accomplish the feat this season as Colquitt and Morstead are kicking back.
Those are two of the best in the game, too. You're talking about really talented punters. That Colquitt thing where he walks up to Mahomes and says, hey, thanks for letting me punt. It was nice getting back out there.
Yeah.
That's a hilarious line. Thomas Morstead as well. When I got there, Hunter Smith had a couple games where Peyton didn't let him punt.
Yeah.
I never experienced it. I had a couple with one. But it's one of those situations where as a punter, we like to pride ourselves on being the people you'd like to drink a beer with.
Yeah.
We're the people that after a win you'd like to celebrate with.
Yeah.
I think Dustin and Thomas are both very excited that they're just along for the ride watching some greatness with their team, which is what Mahomes and Brees are doing this year.
Yeah, Morstead's had 2 games, including this past week, where he didn't punt a single punt in a game.
Great holds, though. People forget. Great holds down there. He's holding those balls for Mr. Lutz at an impressive fashion. All of his focus turning the laces to 6, from 6 to 12, and with a proper lean. Yeah, but you just want to win.
That's pressure, though. Holds.
Oh, I was so scared. I've never been more scared in my life. I lied to Bill Polian's face, told him I knew how to hold coming out of college. I did not. I had no idea. I had no idea how to do it. I had never done it. I kicked in college.
What do you mean you lied to Polian's face?
Mr. Polian, he asked me, I don't know if it was via phone or during a workout, something happened. He was like, you know how to hold if we were to draft you to punt, right? And nobody was looking for me to punt. So I was like, absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely know how to do that. And I'd never done it in my entire life. So then I get drafted. Vinatieri knows that I was a kicker in college. He calls me the day after. He goes, have you ever held before? I'm like, Vinny, I got to tell you this. I lied right to Mr. Polian's. By that point, I'd already been drafted. So our first conversation was like a congratulations, and then he was very mad at me. And then he sent me to a holding camp in North Carolina with Ken Walter, the guy who held for him in New England. Yeah, I went to like a boot camp with Ken Walter. I stayed at his house. Yeah, it was a wild scene. But I was very nervous, yeah. First game in the NFL, I could give a damn about how those punt went. Whenever I walked out to hold for him, I had never been more nervous in my entire life. I had never been.
How'd you do?
I had one or two bad ones my entire career.
Attaboy. Well, it's that boot camp.
That's right.
It's that boot camp. They straighten you out.
Yeah, I had blisters on my fingers catching those balls. But Vinatieri would come to my room in training camp at night, and he would throw me like 500 balls a night. I would get thrown. Like it was very much like, hey, kid, I built up quite a little legacy here. I'm not going to let you come in here and ruin it because you lied to Bill Polian's face. I'm like, hey, I'm with you, dog. So we became really good friends over that. But yeah, it was an interesting conversation to begin with.
Your first ever game was a 14-12 win over Jacksonville.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's a lot of holding.
Two.
Yeah, I was about to say.
But I'll tell you what, those 2 holds, I might as well have been the Super Bowl game-winning kicks. I was scared out of my mind. I was getting texts from my friends like, hope you do well today. Don't ruin Vinny's career. I'm like, thanks. That means a lot. Because you can do that.
You guys started 14-0 that year.
That'll work.
Yeah, we didn't lose until we chose to.
That's, by the way, 1,000% what happened.
I know. Yeah, I was there.
Took a knee on the undefeated season, man.
Yeah. I was too young to have an opinion, but boy, all the old heads in the locker room were not happy.
They were not happy about it.
No, because the 72 Dolphins still get talked about. That was something like, if we can go get it, we should go get it. But then it's thinking ahead. We win that Super Bowl after resting that game. Everybody looks like a genius. We lose to Drew Brees. We've talked about this before. I don't think his kid now is stupid, but the baby celebrating after that was very dumb. So it's one of those things where it's the old heads, OGs, wanted to go for it. And I was too young to have a decision.
Again, I understand losing a Super Bowl leaves a mark that never goes away. But to
correct.
blame it on a small child who's a beautiful child with headsets on.
Very beautiful kid. Drew Brees did a great job making a beautiful baby. And those babies were on ESPN last week.
Yes.
They were very smart.
Yes.
They were very, very intelligent. But the last image I saw before walking into the most miserable locker room I've ever been in my entire life, which was after that Super Bowl, I was so young. I was like, no big deal. We'll be back next year, guys. Guys, no big deal. We'll just come back next year. This isn't a big deal. That locker room was the most miserable place I've ever been in my entire life. And the last thing I saw before walking in there, a baby with the thing, and I was like, that baby, it's like Pavlov's dogs. I see that baby, miserable world. Yep.
There it is on screen right there.
Yep, and that was the last thing that was on the Jumbotron while we were walking into the locker room filled with misery. I think like Peyton left the country for like a month. It was like the most miserable place ever.
Well, before Luan calls, what'd you think of the Steelers locker room where all of Le'Veon's stuff got tossed around as soon as he said he wasn't coming back?
That was wild. That whole situation's very wild to me. Because NFL locker room, NFL players are all about people getting their money, right? Get your money, do your thing. There's no business. We don't do business in the locker room. You can get into a lot of petty arguments whenever you start talking about people's money, how much people are making, how much they're not playing, things like that. Like Dwight Freeney was making $17 million, I think the first year Grigson was there, and they were only playing him on some third downs. Like he wasn't even playing. And Freeney even knew, like, this, I am sorry, basically. You just don't talk business in the locker room. So whenever that whole offensive line came out and people were taking shots at him, that was very weird to me. It was all very interesting. And then now that he's officially decided not to do up, which I think is a bad decision for the future, I'm neither here nor there. He's going to fire his agent at some point.
You think so?
I think so. I think that's the only way he saves this. I think that's the only PR spin here to save is I was given wrong information. So then NFL teams, because there's a lot of people that aren't going to be happy that he just skipped out on an entire season.
Like who? Like potential suitors for
that's what
his
I think.
work?
I think everybody's like, well, all you need is one. All you need is one. That's all people ever say. But in negotiation, you need more than one, actually. That's not the way. If he wants to get $42 million, which I think is what he needs to get if he wants to make back this $14.5 million, you need a couple teams interested. And I think this is a bad look, especially with his locker getting looted by his teammates right after leaving. That's insane.
Well, even if they were just joking around, that was doesn't that say something?
I don't know. If they were to be like, hey, Lev, like we'll send you your stuff, like I think that would be a funny thing. But it was an interesting video, especially after the O-line came out and took shots at him. That's a very interesting situation. I'm excited to see how it plays out. But I think Lev eventually ends up firing his agent, PR spin. I was given wrong information, blah, blah, blah.
Do you think were you surprised that he didn't text Ben back? He hasn't texted most of his guys in that locker room.
Yeah, because you think you're still friends with those. Every time somebody retires, they always say they miss the locker room. Right? I miss the locker room. I miss the guys. I miss being in an NFL locker room with the guys. My small business is like 10 guys, so we're kind of like a locker room to begin with every single day. But guys miss the locker room. They miss the friendship. That is the interesting thing that he hasn't really, because I still got boys that play on other teams. We still talk and things like that. But every situation is different, and especially whenever you're a once-in-a-generation running back, when like you think you are, or you're being told, it's a whole different situation.
Pat McAfee here on the Rich Eisen Show.
By the way, it would be really cool just to be able to say, nah, to $14.5 million.
Oh my gosh, right?
That'd be awesome. You know what? I thought about it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a rap song.
But instead, I'm going to make a point about what I think my value is. That's what he's saying.
I know. It's good business, right? It always seems like business can be business. Like Aaron Donald, right? There's a business guy. Then it sits out a while. And Ndamukong Suh was considered a business guy there for a while. I mean, you look at Darrelle Revis, he's probably the best business NFL player in the history of the game. Ever. Like hired as a mercenary, basically. It's coming. Maybe that's what will happen with Lev Bell. But 14.5 is a wild number to just walk away from.
And have to make up and earn.
Well, he said in a freestyle in his front yard, shirtless, last year, he won 17 M's. So he wanted 17 million.
You say that as if nobody's ever made a shirtless video on their front lawn before. I mean, Terrell Owens essentially is the king of the shirtless video on the front lawn. Right?
I agree, and that workout is something that really is impressive. Right? I've never done that intensive a workout in my front yard or inside a house, so I'm very impressed by him.
Something else.
He's a Hall of Famer. How do you guys feel at the NFL Network about him being a Hall of Famer not going?
Who, T.O.?
You.
Oh, we talked about it here. I thought he made a mistake.
So that's a really big opportunity.
Look, he's not going to change the way that the selectors select people, and he's not going to change the way that it's set up for selectors to select people. What he did was deny himself that incredible weekend. You only get one induction ceremony. It's unbelievable. He obviously had something that he wanted to get across and get off his chest and make a point of, but you know.
I was watching your post show with you and the 100 gold jackets.
Yeah.
And I think Randy and Ray were basically like pleading with him, like, come home, because they're planning on doing a lot with it, I think.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and then the guy, there'll be, a quick moment where he's going to have to look other, OGs in the face and say, I wasn't disrespecting you, and they'll welcome with open arms, and hopefully he comes back every year. Because that's the reason why it works, is everybody comes back.
I do think T.O.'s been disrespected for what he does on the field. But I think he's brought a lot of distractions along with him. So I think it's kind of like like a pros and cons.
Sure, but he's one of the all-time greats. And the stuff off the field or whatever he was doing is exactly why he wasn't first ballot. And I think he wanted to make a point. And unfortunately for him, like I said, there's nothing like that weekend.
I watched him play in a beer league softball game out here in L.A. 3 years ago. He jumped over a guy and landed on third base.
He's unbelievable.
Freak athlete.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.